Hello and welcome to Current Issues with me, Tarun. Transportation infrastructure of roads, ports, highways and other places needs to be strengthened for realizing Prime Minister Modi's and the NDA's government's vision of Make in India. If that is done, then Make in India can be a success. The success of one hinges upon the other, but the transportation infrastructure needs to come first as a priority. To discuss this issue, I have with me Himanshu Vats. He is senior journalist and editor. Sharat Kohli, business analyst, and Ramesh Agarwal, he is chairman Agarwal Movers Group. So let us start with first things first. I'll go to Himanshu. Himanshu, what would be your opening comment? Do you see we need to get our act together in the transportation space for Make in India to be a success in the longer term?
Yes, absolutely. For any kind of economic growth one is looking for,
Yes.
infrastructure is absolutely essential.
Yes.
In fact, infrastructure is perhaps the single biggest constraint to the double-digit growth aspiration that India has. And so it does two things. One, it prepares India for better growth. Right now there are various constraints. The global climate is not good. But those constraints are going to go away at some stage, and where India is going to start growing, once you have the outcome of the policy decisions taken in the past 2 years. The second thing it does is that while the global economy is not good and
Yes.
the demand is not so good in the economy, investment in infrastructure is something that really lifts demand all around, or various sectors, whether it is cement, whether it is steel, whether it's construction, metals, all kinds of things. So there's no two ways about it. It is the clear number one priority for this country to
Okay,
develop.
so I take that as your opening comment. I'm going to Sharat Kohli at this moment. Sharat, what would be your opening comment on the topic today?
See, Tarun, we're talking of Make in India,
Yes.
which is a Prime Minister's initiative. And I'll, if you allow me, I'll take a small case study
Yes.
and see how this whole thing is impacted.
Yes.
Now, let's take a factory. Prime Minister initiative is to move the factories to India. When we talk of Make in India, we're talking of factories moving to the country.
Yes.
Let's take a hypothetical case of a factory located in 24 Paraganas, which is near Kolkata.
Yes.
Now, this company imports goods from, say, Hong Kong.
Yes.
It manufactures in 24 Paraganas and then it exports to Europe. So the goods physically transfer from Kolkata to Mumbai, and from there they are shipped.
Yes.
Now let us have a realistic assessment of what happens. The goods arrive from Hong Kong, which is the raw material, some components probably
Yes.
which are involved in the manufacturing process. They arrive from Hong Kong. They lie at the Kolkata port.
Yes.
It takes about 7 to 8 days average for the import shipment to get cleared. The goods leave the Kolkata port, reach 24 Paraganas. Because of the poor infrastructure of road, it takes another 1 or 2 days. I'm adding up the days. From 8 days, it comes to 10 days. The goods get manufactured. They get transported from Kolkata to Mumbai. It takes about 7 to 8 days for a distance of 2,150 kilometers for a truck to carry the goods to Mumbai.
Okay.
They reach Mumbai, they reach the dockyard. It takes about 3 days again for the goods to get cleared from the customs, and they are loaded on the ship.
So you mean a lot of time is wasted?
20 days, if you add up 20 days just for the sake of bureaucracy and red tapeism
Okay.
and the procedures.
Okay, good point here. I'm going across to Ramesh Agarwal, who himself runs a company that is involved in transportation. Would you agree, Ramesh, when Sharat says that it takes an awful lot of time to transport things in India due to the slow bureaucratic processes?
In fact, there's two aspects. One is shipping. You can say that shipping is a different thing. Second, I'm talking about surface transports.
Yes.
Once we talk about surface transport,
Yes.
there's a 25% as on today. The total train time, like if say the 8 days.
Yes.
So we are taking at least 25% means 10 days to reach from destination.
Okay.
Because all checkposts in between,
Yes.
approximately like toll, then cell tax checkpost, plus mobile vans. So 25%, this is a big cost for the transport as
Yes.
well as inventory.
Yes.
Suppose in country, if you talk about more than 90 lakhs crore material is moving in the 1 year,
Yes.
and that if we say that transit inventory is 25% extra, so
Yes.
if you calculate that cost, that is a big cost, which
Yes.
is very much, painful for the industry
Yes.
as well as transporters, and all things all together being burdened by consumers.
Okay, Ramesh,
So infrastructure
I'll
Make in
ask you a
India,
very
it's
pointed
good
question.
slogan
I have
we
some
should
data.
Ji.
The data states that the average waiting time for Indian trucks at checkpost is 70 minutes, which is little over 1 hour. But globally, the time is only 5 minutes.
Ji, it is very much correct, sir.
So in India, it is in India it's 70
It is
minutes.
very much correct,
Globally,
because-
it is 5 minutes. So we are losing out to competition, isn't it?
Correct. It is very much correct, sir.
Okay, so I'll go across to Himanshu Watts at this moment. Himanshu,
Ji.
I'll further read from what the document that I have states that the global standard for coverage of distance of trucks is a 700 to 800 kilometer per day. But in India, Indian truckers are able to cover a distance of only 300 kilometers per day. But I mean, for somebody who's concerned of turnaround times when he's doing business, do you think this is a big setback? Because today the Indian manufacturer is competing with somebody in China, somebody in Europe, somebody in ASEAN nations. So do you think that this is a big impediment for the Indian business or Make in India success?
This is certainly a big impediment for business because globally one is not used to such obstacle and such a long time in movement of goods.
Yes.
But the good thing is there are things happening. As soon as GST is passed, and we all hope and pray it will be passed in the coming session.
Yes.
So many of these state barriers will go.
Yes.
And if you look at the highway development program, today it is possible in many trunk routes for a truck to do 500 to 700 to 800 kilometers.
Yes.
So there is improvement, but certainly, if you're looking at people to come and make in India,
Yes.
you have to look at where they are making today and what is the infrastructure that is available and taken for granted.
Yes.
For somebody to come to India, cost is not the only thing. But there's a flip side. These companies whom we are inviting to come and make in India,
Yes.
it is not just to manufacture. There's also this huge Indian market which is very attractive to them,
Yes.
which is why FDI is going up. But if we can set right these transportation bottlenecks, this is the time where the global economy is on a downturn. There is gloom all around, from China to Europe, Brexit, all kinds of things are happening.
Yes.
And if we can get these basic things right,
Yes.
which doesn't take too much, it just requires some determination.
Yes.
If we can get the port clearances and the toll gates, even in tolls, all you need is electronic tolling.
Yes.
You have to enforce those gadgets where a truck passes by with a recharged gadget and,
Yes.
and the gate opens automatically. It happens in so many parts of the world.
Yes.
So it's very doable, but we have to be in this mindset that we have to improve and then reach out to the potential investors.
Okay,
We
I
shouldn't
take your
imagine
point.
that
I'm going to Sharath at
just
this
because
moment. Sharath,
we
if you
want
could
them to
tell me,
invest, they will come and invest.
building upon the earlier point, Sharath, that I made, that Indian trucks having only capable of carrying 300 to 350 kilometers a day compared to 700-800. I'll also have some other figures. It takes 294 minutes for a truck at a checkpost in Assam. In West Bengal, it's 107 minutes. Orissa is 103 minutes. Niti Aayog has recommended that India should work towards 20 minutes for a truck at a checkpost. Do you think we seriously need to get our act together? Because building roads is one issue, but this is a basic issue.
See, apart from the fact that the checkposts consume a lot of time,
Yes.
we need to look at two aspects. One aspect is, why does it take such a long time for the checkpost?
Yes.
Because they are poorly serviced.
Yes.
And let us not forget corruption at the checkpost. Mr. Ramesh Agarwal would agree with me, because they have to grease the palms at the checkpost to get past the checkpost, to get the barriers lifted. Let us also look at the condition of roads, which again Mr. Agarwal will vouch, who's in the business of moving trucks. The infrastructure, the road infrastructure is terrible.
Yes.
We talk of paved roads. Paved
Yes.
road is which has got a hydrocarbon binder, with bituminized kind of
Yes.
agents. Only 47% of the roads in India
Yes.
are having bituminized agents, which are paved roads.
Yes.
So imagine a truck driving on a road which is not even
So
paved.
the problems are more basic than checkposts.
So the speed comes down,
Yes,
Tarun, to
yes.
13 kilometers average per hour.
Yes.
as compared to it should be 70 to 80 the global
So,
average.
I mean, so the Indian businessman's turnaround time is going to be horrible.
Absolutely,
He
you
can't
talk,
be competitive.
You talk of a factory.
Yes.
You know the inventory build up in the factory.
Yes.
You go and order a car, for example.
Yes.
They will. Why do they take 3 months, 4 months? It's not because the car takes 4 months to manufacture.
Yes.
It is the logistic cost, the logistic time which is involved.
Taking
which
taking your point, I'm going to a statement that was made to News World India by Naveen Gupta of the Transporters Association. That statement plays for you right away.
आज हमारा हिंदुस्तान एक है, तो एक हिंदुस्तान में एक पॉइंट से दूसरे पॉइंट जाने के बीच में कोई रुकावटें ना हो। रेल के लिए कोई रुकावट नहीं है, एयर्स के लिए रुकावट नहीं है, लेकिन या सी के लिए भी कोई रुकावट नहीं है, लेकिन ट्रांसपोर्टर के लिए या रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट के लिए हर स्टेट एक नया कंट्री है, उसको ट्रांजिट पास लेना पड़ता है, चेक पोस्ट द्वारा निकलना पड़ता है, अलग अलग टोल प्लाजा के थ्रू गुजरना पड़ता है। हमने सरकार को प्रपोजल दिया कि आप या तो वन टाइम टोल ले लीजिए या कोई ऑल्टरनेटिव टोल मेथडोलॉजी क्रिएट कीजिए ताकि आपको सारा टोल रेवेन्यू एक बार आ जाए और हमारे को एक सीमलेस मूवमेंट मिले। जब सीमलेस मूवमेंट होगी तो एक तो एफिशिएंसी आएगी, लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट कम होगी, इन्फ्लेशन कम होगा, साथ साथ जो वेस्टेज ऑफ फ्यूल है वो कम होगा, फॉरेन करेंसी का सेविंग होगा गवर्नमेंट को, प्लस जब टर्न अराउंड टाइम कम हो जाएगा, इन्वेंट्री कम हो जाएगी, इन्वेंट्री कॉस्ट कम होगी मैन्युफैक्चरर्स की, तो उनकी एफिशिएंसी भी बढ़ेगी, उनकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कॉस्ट कम आ जाएगी।
I'm going across to Ramesh Agarwal and asking him, Ramesh Agarwal, could you tell us, is it possible to achieve the target of 20 minutes at checkpost as also increase your transportation speed to 600 kilometers a day? Can the Niti Ayog's target be achieved?
In fact, you said that Assam is 5 hours.
Yes.
But as per my calculations, Assam takes more than 10 to 12 hours.
Okay.
And number 2, the horrible check post, that is West Bengal.
Yes.
Then you said somewhere 112 minutes.
Yes.
It is more than 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
And number 3rd, if you count it, the Kerala check post.
Yes.
Kerala check post, they take days together. Because Kerala check post में एक सिस्टम है कि जो इनकमिंग माल केरला में जाता है वो फिजिकली ताला तोड़कर चेक करते हैं।
Okay.
और वो ताला तोड़ के चेक करने में जो किसी मटेरियल के साथ जो खेला जाता है, बिकॉज वहां देयर इज लो मेनी चांसेस ऑफ पिलफरेज एंड मटेरियल हैंडलिंग के अंदर जो डस्ट, मिट्टी, मड जो जाता है, तो यदि हमारी चेक पोस्ट के ऊपर, बिकॉज एक रीजन है हमारा, रीजन टू बिलीव, आज हमारे को एक मौलिक अधिकार है कि एनीथिंग विच इज नॉट अंडर रीजनिंग दे कैन नॉट चेक अस। सो रीजन टू बिलीव के अंदर अनलेस दे हैव एनी स्पेसिफिक इंफॉर्मेशन कि ट्रक कुछ सामान गलत लेके जा रहा है तो दे शुड चेक इट, अदरवाइज रीजन टू बिलीव के हिसाब से उनको किसी तरह का कोई चेक करने का अधिकार नहीं है, बट दे डू इट। तो मेरा ये कहना है कि यदि हम इस सारे चेक पोस्ट को एक सिंगल विंडो के हिसाब से एक यूनिक सेल टैक्स नंबर जैसे जीएसटी आ जाएगी हमारे पास होगा, तो हम एटलीस्ट 25 to 30% ट्रांजिट टाइम कम करेंगे। तो 30% जब ट्रांजिट टाइम कम होगा तो डेफिनेटली 18 to 20% हमारी लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट डायरेक्टली कम हो जाएगी, 18 to 20%।
और हाउ विल इट बेनिफिट द मैन्युफैक्चरर?
जीडीपी का हिस्सा है। और यदि हम मैन्युफैक्चर तो ऑटोमेटिकली आज मैन्युफैक्चर का जो इन्वेंट्री है वो 25 to 30% एक्स्ट्रा उसको बनानी पड़ती है बिकॉज ऑफ ट्रांजिट टाइम। और वो इन्वेंट्री यदि वो 25 to 30% इन्वेंट्री कम कर देगा तो उसका डेफिनेटली उसका बैंक का इंटरेस्ट प्लस उसका स्टॉक, उसका सब कुछ फर्क होगा।
अच्छा, and one more question, Mr. Agarwal, could you tell me how to increase the speed of Indian trucks from 300 a day to 600-700? How will this be possible?
Without overspeeding too.
एक सिस्टम है हमारा जो आज हम बात कर रहे हैं अपनी इसकी रोड की। रोड आर बहुत बढ़िया है हमारे, उसके ऊपर हमारा कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है कि रोड खराब है। तो रोड के ऊपर जो हर्डल्स है लाइक आरटीओ, लाइक सेल टैक्स, तो वो क्या करते हैं कि रोड के अंदर जो एक ट्रक ड्राइवर को इतना भय है कि वो रास्ते में आरटीओ मिलेगा, वो मेरे को लूटेगा, मेरे को खोसेगा, तो 5-5, 6-6 घंटे उस आरटीओ को निकलने तक ही वेट्स। तो नेशनल हाईवे गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की प्रॉपर्टी है, तो दिस आरटीओ शुड नॉट बी अलाउड ऑन नेशनल हाईवेज। तो यदि ये आरटीओ का जो डर है यदि खत्म हो जाए तो जो हमारी 300 किलोमीटर की स्पीड है इट कैन इंक्रीज टू 750 किलोमीटर। रोड इज नॉट ए प्रॉब्लम,
रोड इज नॉट
हर्डल ऑन द रोड्स, चेक पोस्ट, आरटीओ, रोड इज वेरी मार्वलस. रोड एज ऑन टुडे, यदि हम बिहार की बात छोड़ दें एक बारी,
Yes.
बिहार को छोड़ने के बाद यदि मैं हिंदुस्तान के किसी की बात करूं तो रोड आज मार्वलस. देयर इज नो नथिंग वी कैन रीच. अब कुछ गाड़ियां ऐसी है हमारी
Yes.
जो आरटीओ को खुले पैसे देकर निकलती है,
Yes.
तो वो पर डे ट्रेवल करती है 700 किलोमीटर
Okay. So India में भी ये
पर
possible
डे.
है. This
आज
is
कुछ
possible
ऐसी
in India.
ट्रांसपोर्ट है,
Yes.
दे ट्रेवल अप टू 700 किलोमीटर.
Okay. Okay.
बिकॉज 700 किलोमीटर कवर हो रहा है.
Okay.
वो आरटीओ को जब गाड़ी खड़ी होती है,
Okay.
तो वो एक सेकंड में अपना मुट्ठी बीचकर पेमेंट कर दिया, दे मूव्ड आउट.
Okay, okay, I take your point. So, which means it is possible in India. I'm getting in Sharath and Himanshu. In Sharath, if you could tell me, I have a small statement for you that a ship entering the Indian port the average turnaround time is little over 2 days. In Hong Kong, which you also mentioned, your average turnaround time is 10 hours.
Yeah.
So, 10 hours and 2 days. How does India compete with China when the odds are so high?
See, we have Tarun, 7,517 to be precise, coastline.
Yes.
There are about 12 ports, major ports. There are about 200 minor ports.
Yes.
Now, what is common with all these ports is the red tapeism.
Yes.
Any ship entering here has to fill up on an average 5 forms.
5 forms.
And complete procedures of each form and go through the whole process. Besides that, the goods are made to lie. They are made to lie in bonded warehouses. Let us look at the problem of perishable goods.
Yes.
Now, an item which lands in, let's say, Kolkata port,
Yes.
and is made to lie there for 48 hours,
Yes.
having a shelf life of, let's say, 6 to 7 hours or 12 hours,
Yes.
is going to get spoiled. You'll be surprised to know that 40% of the goods landing here,
Yes.
they get damaged, destroyed, or they perish.
That's a big figure.
That is a huge figure. Look at the losses. So how can you think of companies moving to India
Yes.
in a Make in India initiative when they know they're going to suffer losses
Okay, that's
even
an
before they
important
walk
point.
in?
I'll get Himanshu in. Himanshu, the kind of statistics that Sharath has just spelled out, do you think that also is a cause of worry and an utmost concern that the government of the day must have?
That's certainly a big cause of worry.
Yes.
And this is the reason why, some private ports have come up and they are very popular with importers and exporters.
Yes.
But there's a flip side to it also, that, there's also a section of industry
Yes.
which has become comfortable with the system.
Yes.
And they misuse the system when their competitor is trying to import.
Okay.
So that's the flip side, while certainly the government has to
Himanshu,
act a lot,
I'm reading
but
a
has to be
statistic to
more
you.
self-discipline. Yeah.
The statistics says that a 2016 survey states that only 69% of shipments from India meet the quality criteria, compared to 72% in China and 77% for Kenya. So Kenya is much better than India on this aspect. Do you think that the government must pay attention to these aspects much more than only building roads? Do you think these are the finer things that must be paid attention to?
Yeah, these things certainly you need to pay much more attention to, and
Yes.
also, historically there are many ports which
Yes.
are making bulk of their money from bulk commodities like iron ore and those kind of things.
Yes.
Which you can dump anywhere, do anything.
Yes.
So the port staff, the workers, the the people who manage it, their sensitivity to the sense of urgency, shelf life,
Yes.
that really needs to go up enormously.
Okay, Himanshu,
Because
a small
for the
comment
person in the
from you.
system in the port,
A
he has
small-
nothing to lose.
I want a small comment from you. You've covered governments and different governments over the past 30 years. Do you think because we take issues on a piecemeal basis and ministries work in different silos, so projects are done but there is no cohesive effort, do you think that is an issue also with the India infrastructure story?
That's been an issue for decades and decades,
Yes.
and there's one shining example already. The moment you have merged, say, power, coal, and renewable energy ministries,
Yes.
lots of things that used to go to and fro between two ministries are now decided within the ministry before they go to the cabinet, and things are moving much faster.
Yes.
Likewise, ideally there should be a multimodal approach. You have railways separately. A container goes on a truck, it goes on a ship, it goes on the railways.
Yes.
So there is need for a empowered multimodal authority which
Okay.
can deal with these issues.
Okay.
And I think the direction is there, as we have seen in the energy sector. I think there is hope.
You mean there is hope, we are moving in positive direction. We are going to Ramesh Agarwal. Ramesh Agarwal, Sharath just put out a point saying India, you need 5 forms at the ports. But in Germany, you need only 2 forms. Do you think that we are into too much of bureaucratic form filling that needs to be lessened now?
इनफैक्ट यदि हम आज से इफ यू टॉक अबाउट 2 years बैक
Yes.
और आज की हम यदि चर्चा करते हैं तो वी आर लिटिल बिट बेटर
We are better.
बिकॉज देयर इज अ सिंगल विंडो नाउ इज ए governance is cell, there is a single window.
Yes.
If anybody who doesn't get a clearance, he can go in single window, he get the relief.
Yes.
But यदि फिर भी compared to other like China and all, हम
Yes.
बहुत पीछे हैं.
Okay.
It requires.
Okay. Okay.
और
Point.
this is a shipping. But if surface transport में कहें,
Yes.
if you want me to add in surface transport,
Yes.
surface transport में there is small hurdles.
Okay.
जब गुजरात कर सकता है तो मध्य प्रदेश क्यों नहीं कर सकता? जब गुजरात कर सकता है तो बिहार यूपी क्यों नहीं कर सकता? तो मॉडल को तो रेप्लिकेट ही करना है. तो वहां पर एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूं मैं.
Yes.
किसी तरह से किसी आरटीओ ने कोई गाड़ी को कंपाउंड कर दिया, सीज कर दिया,
Yes.
और सीज करने के बाद वो डॉक्यूमेंट लेके चले जाते हैं.
Yes.
तो जब तक वो आरटीओ वापस नहीं आएगा, वो शादी में चला गया, गांव चला गया, छुट्टी चला गया, तो 5 दिन तक गाड़ी और उसका गुड्स व्हीकल्स और उसमें किसी प्रोजेक्ट का माल हो, खाने का सामान हो या किसी इंडस्ट्री का सामान हो, वो प्रोजेक्ट के लिए वहां इनॉग्रेशन के लिए लोग वेट करते रहेंगे.
Yes.
बट वो ट्रक विल नॉट बी रिलीज. हालांकि उसका जो मालिक है वो रिलीज करने के लिए, कंपाउंडिंग के लिए वहां खड़ा हुआ तैयार है.
Yes.
बट आरटीओ हैज पैक्ड अप.
हाँ, but that is a big problem.
छोटी चीज है और गवर्नमेंट कैन डू वेरी इजीली दिस बिकॉज 5 दिन 4 दिन उसका जब किसी प्रोजेक्ट का मटेरियल हेल्डअप होता है,
Right.
तो आप देख सकते हो कि डेस्टिनेशन के ऊपर किसी ने इनोवेशन का टाइम रखा हुआ है,
Right.
किसी ने मुहूर्त का टाइम रखा हुआ है,
Right.
सब फेल हो जाते हैं.
Right. Okay. One more thing. We were going to Sharath at this moment. Sharath, we've spoken of the truck and the surface transport. We also touched upon the ports. But coming to things like waterways and railways, do you think the waterways story is largely, you can say, unexploited in India? We have not used those resources efficiently.
Yes, definitely, because when we talk of India is a peninsular design, you know.
Yes.
So peninsular design means when you're traveling along the coast and you're going down from north to south,
Yes.
you can easily use the waterways.
Yes.
Whereas if you're looking at transportation from, let's say, Mumbai to Kolkata,
Yes.
definitely waterways turns out to be a long route and
Yes.
expensive. What we should also look at, Tarun, is
Yes.
we need to look at the aviation policy also.
Yes.
The penetration of airports, smaller
Yes.
airports. Today we have the private airlines
Yes.
who have the major chunk of the market.
Yes.
They are not willing to travel to smaller airports.
Yes.
So if these smaller airports, now aviation policy says that you need to set up these small airports.
These 150 airstrips are coming.
Exactly.
Yes.
So this is part of the government's initiative.
Yes.
Once these smaller airports are there,
Yes.
the travel time and the efficiency of transportation will suddenly go up.
Okay.
No doubt it will add up to a bit of cost.
Yes.
But I think it's a cost benefit analysis to be done.
Okay.
Where you balance out between the cost and the time. Sometimes the time involved can overtake your cost.
Yes.
And be very, very crucial to the
Okay,
business.
I take that point. I'm going to Himanshu at this moment. Himanshu, could you tell me that we've spoken on surface transport and ports, but could you throw some light on the inland waterways as well as railways? Because our railway network has not expanded exponentially since independence. Piecemeal expansion has happened. Do you think these two things need to be paid attention to?
See, railways have a lot to think about.
Yes.
You know, our colleagues, the panelists here have listed so many problems which a truck has.
Yes.
And yet, so many factories, so many people from port to the hinterland or up to Delhi, they still take the road.
Yes.
Which is something for the railways to think about, because you know they have their own set of problems. Because once you load a container on a train, it doesn't meet any RTO, it doesn't meet any checkpost, nothing.
Yes.
And yet people are not using it. So
Yes.
it is for the railways to think.
Yes.
And I think the moment they have the freight corridors going, say from Delhi to Mumbai and the one to the east,
Yes.
that will make a lot of difference.
Okay.
On waterway, I think this is a very, very important thing.
Yes.
It is one of the cheapest means of transport,
Yes.
particularly when you have rivers from here right up till Calcutta.
Yes.
And another thing which waterways does, it creates a lot of employment. You require some dredging, and that can meet a lot of the soil requirement for building highways and other things.
Yes.
But this has been one sector which has been ignored because it's not those high profile multi-billion-dollar kind of a sector.
Yes.
And I think if the current initiatives, if
Yes.
they are executed
Yes.
to the extent they should be,
Yes.
we'll see a lot of difference.
Okay, so the current
because there's no
initiatives
reason
is what
why
you are betting on.
goods should not be moving on water.
Okay, okay. Take your point. I'm going to Nathiram from Haryana. He's a caller who wants to ask a question. Yes, what question do you want to ask? हेलो
हाँ जी सर।
हाँ, आप क्या क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहते हैं?
मैं सर ये पूछ रहा था, मैं ड्राइवर हूँ 30 साल से।
यस
3 गाड़ी थी सर हमारे पास भी।
यस
अगर ओवरलोड डाला तो आरटीओ को, एक आरटीओ को देना पड़ता 5,000 रुपया।
यस
जैसे अम्बाला से पार किया तो 5,000 कुरुक्षेत्र, 5,000 करनाल, 5,000 पानीपत, 5,000 सोनीपत।
यस
अगर आप अंडरलोड आ गए फिर भी आपको बंद कर देंगे वो।
बिल्कुल
हाँ ये चक्कर है सर, इनसे तो बस छुटकारा बहुत मुश्किल है सर।
बिल्कुल, आपने अच्छा पॉइंट दिया। आई एम गोइंग टू रमेश अग्रवाल फॉर हिज पॉइंट एंड क्लोजिंग कमेंट बोथ। रमेश अग्रवाल, did you hear the caller? Did you hear the caller giving a problem? How do you respond to him?
हाँ, यस यस,
कॉलर ने अपना प्रॉब्लम बताया है।
मैं
आप
उस ड्राइवर साहब की पीड़ा को बहुत बारीकी,
हाँ बोलिए।
हाँ मैं उनकी पीड़ा को बहुत बारीकी से समझता हूं मैं, क्योंकि आज हिंदुस्तान में डॉक्टर का बेटा डॉक्टर बनेगा, वकील का बेटा वकील बनेगा, सीए का बेटा सीए, बट ड्राइवर का बेटा कभी ड्राइवर नहीं बनेगा।
Right.
क्योंकि ड्राइवर हर सेकंड में इन आरटीओ के डर से अपनी लाइफ को छोटा कर दिया उन्होंने। आम आदमी आज 72 इयर्स की एज में जीता है और मेरा ड्राइवर 62 साल में भगवान को प्यारा हो जाता है। ही
Right.
डाइड 10 इयर्स बिफोर द आम आदमी।
राइट
केवल इस डर से इतनी बीमारियां बैठ जाती है, आरटीओ मिलेगा जैसे कोई भूत मिलेगा उसको।
राइट
तो ये मेरे मंत्री साहब बहुत इसमें पॉजिटिव थे जब उन्होंने ओथ ली थी और उन्होंने कहा था कि आरटीओ रहित भारत,
यस
यदि देश को आगे बढ़ाना है
Yes.
तो आरटीओ रहित भारत करना पड़ेगा। हाईवे के ऊपर आरटीओ ना आए,
Okay.
वो अपने ऑफिस में बैठे पेपर चेक करे, कुछ भी
Okay,
करे।
okay. We've
क्योंकि
got
नहीं
one
तो ये
more caller.
ड्राइवर की जाति जो आज दिखाई दे रही है रोड पे,
Yes.
वो खत्म हो जाएगी।
Okay, good point by Ramesh Agarwal. I'm going to Sanjeev. He's a caller from Faridabad. Sanjeev, what question do you want to ask? Okay, we got the phone line got cut. I'm going to Himanshu for his closing comment. Himanshu, what is your closing comment for today's debate?
Well, on one hand, a lot needs to be done from the government, from the state government, central government, to set the infrastructure, roads, highways, everything right.
Yes.
There's also simultaneously a need for better compliance and abiding by the law.
Yes.
And one of the things I want to mention is, the overloading of trucks.
Okay.
Because so many trucks are overloaded, that is what attracts the RTO and people to these points.
Okay.
And my suggestion is that toll should be charged by the weight of the truck and not by the size.
Okay, point taken. Take that as your closing comment. Sharath, in 10 seconds, 20 seconds, your closing comment, you're out of time.
Yeah, I would like to summarize, Tarun, in this manner that one is infrastructure. There's no compromise on infrastructure.
Yes.
Second and very important thing is for the Modi government, for any government at the center, we appreciate the initiative for giving a corruption-free
Corruption-free, I
but
think-
this corruption needs to run, this corruption-free aspect needs to run to the ground level.
Okay.
We just heard the driver saying 5,000 yahan dena padta hai, 5,000 wahan. So therefore the undermining corruption
Okay.
at the ground level is intense.
Okay.
That will prevent any kind of
Okay,
initiative.
good point. But thank you so much, Ramesh Agarwal, who made the point on the RTO being eliminated or should be eliminated. Thank you, Sharath, and thank you, Himanshu, for joining us on today's debate and enriching it. We will track the issue of the transport initiatives of the Government of India for you on News World India and do debates on this as the government progresses with its intention and tries to turn them into reality, as well as highlight the shortcomings and the bottlenecks for you. Thank you so much for joining us on this debate today.